All right, so to start out today, we're going to check out the cardboard that I've put on the outside. I've glued that down on all the outside walls. I think the inside will be fine. I want those to be smoother. I don't want it to be cardboard with these little ripplies in there because I'm afraid that'll show through. Or actually, I know that'll show through when I put the wallpaper on. So I've just strengthened those outside walls, and I've used some clothespins to just hold that in place as it dried. And then I didn't really worry about the inside walls except for this one right here. I did put a piece of cardboard on this wall just because this piece is really long and thin, and that little foam board is so brittle. I just knew it wouldn't last long. Like if somebody ever tried to pick it up or, whatever, or if even your hand bumps it, that foam board breaks really, really easy. And that's going to actually be something I talk about today is foam board, different types of foam board. But yeah, you can totally tell how ripply this is. If that was on the inside, it would definitely show through the wallpaper. So again, I didn't want it on the inside walls. But we're to a stage or to a point now to where I can actually start putting the siding on and even wallpapering the insides. So it just depends on what I've got. I'll have to look and see if I've got anything I can use for wallpaper. Of course, I don't want every room to be the same, so I'll get to do some fun stuff now, like going to the craft store and looking for different types of paper to use for that. But let me get some stuff together and we will talk about the foam board real quick. All right, so I've got 5 different types of foam board, which they're not necessarily different. They're just, I guess, different companies or whatever. These 4 pieces are a bit more expensive. They're about $7 a sheet. And this is your typical Dollar Tree foam board, which of course is just $1 a sheet. And I believe the sheets you buy are the same size as this expensive stuff. And of course, I always get the cheap stuff just because it's cheaper. And I mean, there's a huge difference from $1 to $7. Um, and I've been trying to experiment. I've got a piece here somewhere that I had been soaking in water. All right, so this was the piece that I had been soaking in water. This is a piece of the Dollar Tree foam, and for some reason it didn't really affect it. Now, I have had some before, Dollar Tree foam, where I had made something and I sat that in a shed out behind our house that is not climate controlled. Like in the summer, it gets extremely hot inside, and of course in the winter it gets really cold. So the thing I had built with the Dollar Tree foam, it sat in that building for a year or longer, and in time, the paper, foam board is just a sheet of foam, and there's paper on both sides. Well, if it's not in a climate controlled space, that paper will eventually just detach, kind of get, I guess, air under the paper, like where the glue probably decides it's not going to stick anymore. And it just, will get wavy. Now, I've never seen really that problem with the more expensive stuff. I guess it's just glued on better. But the Dollar Tree stuff will eventually get wavy. So you want to make sure it's in, like a climate controlled space. Because I was going to try to show like an example of what I was talking about. And I was thinking that if I would soak this in water, that paper would get wavy. Well, it for some reason did not get wavy. I don't know why. I don't know if maybe the newer pieces I've bought from the Dollar Tree have just been made better. But anyway, this exact piece right here had been soaking in water for at least 2 minutes, and it didn't seem to bother it at all. I mean, you can see it's still smooth. I took a hair dryer to it to dry it, and it really didn't do anything to it. So it's pretty good, actually. But as far as being strong, Like this is pretty flimsy. Whoops. You can see how easy that was to just snap it. And it's kind of got, seems like the smaller the piece is, the harder it is to break. Well, there, I popped that one. But then, of course, here I am trying to make an example of how it pops, and I'm having a hard time breaking it. But anyway, it does break pretty easy, as you can see there. Normally it breaks easier than that, like right here. Oh, there, now they've done it. Okay, so anyways, it breaks. The Dollar Tree stuff breaks. And of course, any of it will break. This is a more expensive piece, and it's harder to break, as you can see. Like that corner, it's almost, you know, rubbery. It's not wanting to break too easy. So that's kind of cool. Like if you want stability, you might want to upgrade to the more expensive pieces, like Hobby Lobby type stuff. I think that's where most of this came from compared to that Dollar Tree stuff, because it clearly breaks every time you try to break it. This is a Hobby Lobby piece, and see, it's just not really wanting to crack apart. I mean, I'm doing all this to it, and it's not wanting to like break like this does. So I just thought I would experiment with some pieces, and that's like, I was trying to experiment with this piece when I was soaking it with water, hoping that that paper would bubble up, but it just wouldn't do it. But in time it will. Like, you know, if I kept doing it a lot, it would eventually pull away from the foam. But anyway, when I work on my houses, I do use the cheaper Dollar Tree stuff. But of course, I always go back with a extra wall and double it up with a piece of cardboard. So, you know, if you're wanting to use the Dollar Tree foam for the big parts of your houses, it's completely fine to do that. But I always strengthen it up with a layer of cardboard. Okay, so the other part that I want to talk about today is just all the accessories that I've got for this house. Now, there's my little basket and the dog, and let me grab this little box of stuff here. There is so much stuff, and I had forgotten about what all I had, so we're going to actually check it out today. I thought, well, since the rooms are together, we will just start putting this stuff in here. I mean, of course, we ain't ready to like glue anything down yet, but it's just, I can't help it. I get so excited over the little miniatures, and I just want to check it out. And it's kind of like the first time seeing some of this, because I don't really like study what I have. I just pick things up along the way, threw them in this box, and I honestly don't remember everything that's in it. So it's just so exciting to get to look at it again. There's a little telephone, which I'll have to work on that a little bit, but that's super cool. But I'm going to start just sitting things out, try to get down here to some of the bigger stuff. That actually goes outside. This is the sweet tea. See, I'm a big tea drinker, so when I saw that, I had to have that. Any country person probably drinks sweet tea. Now, this is a dollhouse. I don't know if I'll put this in here. She didn't really have a dollhouse, but I just thought it was kind of cool. I may actually save that for the retro house that I'm going to work on. That's the top to that. And then this is perfect. I'm going to move that box out of the way. Let's see. That's Dorothy's room. Let me flip this around. All right, so that's that front room. I think there was a table, or I don't know what was on this wall, because we never saw this wall over here. So that would actually look good there, unless we have a different place for it later. And then, of course, Annie M, she might be sitting in a rocking chair. I don't know if she's in a rocking chair. It may not be a rocking chair, but the leg to that is in here. I just got to glue that back. So some of this stuff we will have to work on. Actually, I think there's a rocking chair sitting in this room. And then there's the parts. I'll glue that back later. But I was just excited and wanted to check it out. This little table would be a good place for that little phone. And then this piece, this will look really good over here in the kitchen. Now I'm just going to kind of sit this around and then we'll look at it better in a second. It's a little too big for those walls, so I don't know. Like, I'll show you something in there in a little bit. I actually found something really cool to go in the kitchen. And then this, I really love this. It's a little Victrola. That's really cool. And I already know exactly, it's going to go on a shelf in this corner over here later when I get the shelf made, or the table or whatever. And then this was a cool piece. This might look good in the bedroom. Right under that wall. That would look really good, right under that window. This, of course, is going to be used for Dorothy. You know, she carries a little suitcase when she runs away from home. So that can go in her little closet. Oh, and now this is that fancy little piece. Someone paid $30 for that at one time. That's the original price on this. And it's just this little porcelain urn. That's pretty cool. Of course, I didn't pay 30 bucks for it. I got it for like $1. But they definitely had pretty little things like that sitting around. Oh yeah, and this is perfect too. This is Uncle Henry's little pipe, because we see him smoking his pipe a couple of times. So that'll go in the living room. And then this, I like this. This looks to me like it's probably something you would have in your, I don't know if it'd be in a living room or a dining room. But since we don't have a dining room, it's going to go in the living room, if we have room for it. I don't want to get it too crowded in here. And this table might be too big once there's a bed in here. I don't know. We'll just, you know, again, if some of this doesn't work, I'll use it in the Scooby-Doo house. But the retro house I'm going to work on, I'm going to make all that furniture myself. And then that's another piece that I thought would be good in Dorothy's. But again, that looks more like a china cabinet or like a dining room piece or a kitchen piece. But there's just not that much room in our kitchen. And let me turn this around. So since I've got it turned right here to sort of see that good, I'm going to pull out this piece that I've had. I've had this all along, and just realized today that it would be so perfect for this diorama. And it is this little stove, and it actually fits really, really good in that spot. I mean, it's just a perfect fit. All right, I got you in a little better position to see that, but it just fits perfect right here. And there's still room over here beside it and the wall to, you know, have some space in there. And then I've got this little table, which it's also missing a leg. Now, if that piece is too big, I'll put this piece over there or something like that. And then I've got this little piece, which I think is going to be perfect for Dorothy's bedroom. It will actually go right on this wall, and it'll have a mirror above it with a little skirt stitched across there. And then this, if I can get it in the light, what does that say? Oh, it says dear little baby. I don't know that we really need that in this house either, because nobody in this house is a baby. So that might can go in the Scooby-Doo house, or we can do like a scary nursery or something in the Scooby-Doo house, or maybe even the retro house. This is perfect. I can't wait to get this one put in here. Just all these little things. See, it'd be a lot cooler if I actually had the wallpaper and the floors done, and then I could just really be putting this in here permanently. Now, when I put this in, I probably won't glue none of this one down. Now, I did glue some stuff down in the Hocus Pocus house, but I don't know that I'll do that for this one. And then I've got that cool little tea set, which I was hoping that if I was going to use this piece of furniture, that this tea set could go on that. But since I ain't going to use this, then I guess I won't be using that either. I guess I'll save that for Scooby-Doo. And this cute little tea set is just going to get grungy and dirty, so it looks more like it's fitting for a haunted house. So, you know, that'll be cool either way, for Dorothy or for the haunted house. Now there's the mirror too, which I'll have to work on that. That'll be some other videos where I work on these broken pieces. But that goes down there on that little vanity piece. That's just a little pie pan. That can sit in the kitchen. Oh, and this is perfect. You know, Annie M, I think, had some knitting stuff sitting by her chair where she was knitting some stuff. So that'll go around here where her chair will be. And this looks totally like a little farmhouse piece, like an old antique mirror to hang on the wall. That would look good here in this room. Or maybe in the living room. I don't know yet. Maybe better in the bedroom, I guess. Now this one I do like. It says Home Sweet Home. That's pretty cute, and that'll look really good in the kitchen over here. That would look good hanging on this wall there. You know, or just one of the walls. That'll be fun to get to decorate this. That's always the fun part for me. And then, of course, this is a wash tub. You actually do see some of these at the back of the house. So that'll be a piece that can sit on the back porch here. And then, of course, I've got a washboard to go in with that. Oh, and another piece that I really loved was this little clock. Got terrible lighting in here. But this little clock, I'm kind of crazy about that piece. This was a $40 clock. I mean, that was like old-timey price. That's not, you know, what it would be now. Of course, it depends on where you would be finding that. Again, I got lucky and got that for free from a person that I know that used to have a doll house shop. She was getting rid of a bunch of stuff. That would actually look better in the living room. And then I've just got a bunch of random little stuff here. Here's a little oil lamp. That's kind of a fancier, nicer piece. It's actually made out of metal. And then a sewing machine. That'll look good. Probably in this bedroom. And then I think pretty much rest of what's in here is like for the kitchen area. Here's a little Holy Bible. That'll look good laying in the living room. And then here's some sort of little book, like a little magazine, Broadway. And that's really cool, the Broadway thing, because Billie Burke, who played Glinda, she was on Broadway. I guess she did Broadway. She did theater. I don't know if just any theater is considered Broadway. I guess Broadway is a specific thing, but either way, she did. I'm pretty sure she did Broadway stuff. And then here's a little pumpkin pie. I got this not too long ago at an antique shop. It's made out of a bottle cap, and I just thought that was really cute. And she had different styles, like a cherry pie and a pumpkin and blueberry. And of course, I went with pumpkin because it made me think of the fall and Halloween. Um, but yeah, I think the rest of that is kitchen stuff. And these are some of the legs that I need to glue back to some of that broke furniture. That's just kind of a little look at what I've got so far. And it's filling up pretty quick. I think once I get the bed right here and then Dorothy's bed over here, there won't be much more that I need to make. I know I need 3 chairs because you had Miss Gulch, or it might have just been 2. Miss Gulch and Annie M sat here and had their little conversation. Um, it's either 2 or 3. I'll just have to look at the movie set and see what all needs to be put in there. And a little shelf for this corner and just some little pictures for the wall and stuff. But but yeah, I just wanted to get another little uh, look at the things that I had just to refresh my memory. So when I do go to making stuff, I'll kind of know what I've got and what I need to make. And one more little prop. These were in that box, and I wanted to talk about that for just a second. These are 3 little books, and they actually open. I love how they do that. And, in the beginning of the movie, when she's running home, she's got her little school books with a little belt tied around them. So that's what those 3 little books are for. And later on, when I work on the props, I'll just have to make that be part of that and work on that with trying to figure out some sort of little belt or something that can go around it. But I guess the next thing I'll work on, other than trying to get the floors and wallpaper done, is make some little beds. I'd like to get all the big furniture placed and figure out if I need some of these tables in here. And if not, I can, like I said, use them in Scooby-Doo house and then start working on some of these little corner shelves that I'm wanting for the rooms. But once I get that wallpaper and floors done, I think this is going to go pretty quick as far as decorating the inside and getting the inside done up. So, one thing I wanted to mention is you're probably thinking her house was taller. Why am I not continuing the walls to go up or putting the second floor on? And I've been trying to figure that out myself, like how I want to continue the second level. And all I'm going to do as far as the top level, you don't see any of the top level, the second story on the inside. So we don't know what was really up there unless it was an attic or maybe a spare bedroom. Um, and I'm not going to go too extreme with whatever is up here. It might not be anything at all, but my second level, I'm just going to cut a piece of foam board that will just sit right on top. Now I'll just kind of do that and make it cover the whole top of this, just cut it out the shape that it needs to be. And then I'm going to build up that second level up on top of this. And when you're wanting to see in the house, you'll just lift that second story off, which will expose these lower levels. And that's kind of my design for this, because with like the Hocus Pocus house, um, if you saw that and know about that, I done like a diagonal cut, and the 2 pieces just kind of open up, they pull apart. But I didn't want to do that with this one. So I just thought, basically making a lid for this is how the second story is going to be. So I just want to kind of explain my idea for that. So I guess that's probably the best way to explain it, is just calling it a lid, and it's just going to sit right down on top of this part. All right, so there's one more thing that I wanted to mention. Now, I had recorded this and was explaining this whole thing because I was trying to find something for the scarecrow. And then I finally found what I was wanting. But what I was explaining before, before I re-videoed this part, is I was going to tell you guys that I was going to somehow sneak in some little Easter egg things to represent the characters from Oz, because this is, of course, going to be based on Kansas and have all the Kansas characters. And since we're not going to have the Tin Man, there's going to be a certain little prop in here to represent him. And there's going to be something in here to represent the Scarecrow and the Lion. And I've got those three things picked out already. I've not got them. I'll have to make them, but that'll be in another video, which I'm hoping to do maybe the next video, because I'm getting so excited about all these little props. And but my idea though is to have something to represent all the characters. And if you can think of anything that I can put in here to represent maybe Glinda, not necessarily like a wand, because why would they have a wand in a Kansas farmhouse? But, just something, maybe a star or something pink, or just something, maybe some kind of a bubble. I don't know, but I just would like to have little hidden things in here to represent people from Oz, and maybe even something to represent the wizard or the witch or whatever that may be. But I've already got something picked out that's just so clever and so exciting for the three boys, and I can't wait to get those made and show those. But if you can think of any kind of little uh, Easter eggs that I could put in here for other characters, you can let me know in the comments, and I'll work on making those in the next video. Alright, so in my last video, we made my Dorothy basket, and I was talking about how I was going to print out that picture of Dorothy and Annie M. And so here is that print that I done, and then here's that little tiny print that it spit out after it printed the main print. And so I don't know how well that shows up, but it's pretty clear. Sorta. I mean, it's clear enough, it's sharp enough. It's going to look really, really cute once I cut that out and put that in the basket. And here's what it looks like after I got it cut out. And it's super, super tiny. Like it would actually fit on my pinky nail. As you can see, that's how teeny tiny this is. And, that's one thing with miniatures. You have no idea how tiny things are unless you're actually making it yourself, or if you see it in real life. Because I look at some of the stuff I make in real life and think, man, that's so tiny compared to how it looks on the screen. It's really true how the camera will add to the size of stuff, because this stuff is all so tiny. But so see, that's so cute. But there's one more little thing I'm going to do to this real quick. All right, so what I've done is I've took a little piece of this chipboard and just cut a tiny little square out, and I glued that picture to that little piece of board just to make it a little stronger, so it ain't just so thin and floppy. I just thought it needed to be on a little piece of board, because I think even in the movie it's a stiffer picture, and a lot of times old pictures would have been on like a mat board, and that just makes it look a little more like something than just some little old thing I cut out. I just think that kind of gives it more detail. So that is so cute, as you can see, and it's like the perfect scale for that little doll that I'll be using. And there's one more thing. This reminds me of the little tiny lighter that I made for Max in the Hocus Pocus house. I think back when I made that tiny little lighter, it was smaller than this, and I said, I will probably end up losing that. And guess what? I did lose that tiny little lighter. I have no idea where it is. I'm sure I'll come across it one day, unless it got sucked up in the vacuum cleaner. But I'm going to have to remake me a little lighter for Max. But I'm hoping so much that I don't lose this, because it's not as easy to make as that lighter was.